Why do happy people seem to retreat? Why do truly smart people walk away? Because all life, all plants, exist to survive, develop, and grow. They exist to live, not to stop breathing, stop living, or stop functioning just to let the outside world drain and consume them. Our fundamental instinct is to survive. And our instinct drives us to places where our bones can support our bodies and our breathing can be smooth. When our skeletal system supports the body, such as when we straighten our spine and stand tall, our chest cavity opens up, allowing for deeper, smoother breathing. A curled, slouched posture compresses our chest and lungs, making our breath shallow, whereas when we expand our skeletal frame and stretch out our body, our breathing naturally becomes deeper and smoother. We instinctively go to the circles of people where we feel safe, comfortable, and free, where we lift our eyes to look, where we raise our necks with strength, taking up our own space and affirming our own existence, where we look with clarity to gather information, look straight into the eyes of others, draw our own boundaries, engage in civilized communication, and move our hands and feet freely. This means places where we truly live with dignity, and survive, where we produce, develop, explore, improve, and correct. We go to peaceful places, to upward-moving circles, to where our self can exist, where we feel joy and choose to approach and connect, while we walk away from or drive out what we find repulsive. This means places where we establish our own boundaries, where everyone holds their own boundary and territory to breathe and develop. When we lower our head, curl up, and are unable and unwilling to lift our heads and meet people's eyes, we enter the exact same physical state of contraction, defense, and fear of existing as shallow breathing and a slouched posture. Conversely, when we lift our head, use our strength to look, are able to see, and assert our presence, we display the visual manifestation of a stretched, daring to exist state. And we naturally migrate toward people and environments that live this way. We instinctively walk toward them, look toward them, listen to them, and engage with them. Meanwhile, our instinct has already walked away from, distanced itself from, or driven out the people and places we refuse to look at or deal with, those we reject, resent, detest, or even hate, because they make it hard for us to breathe, hard to live, and uncomfortable. And this is what people often mistake for retreating. It is not that we retreat, it is that we have already moved on to live our lives. Retreating is just a label the outside world slaps on this behavior, but our actual internal experience is, I am already continuing to live my own life. We choose to survive. We go toward the people and environments we like and that benefit us, while we walk away from or drive out what we reject, resent, detest, and hate. We want to live, we want to breathe, and we protect our peace of mind, our property, our bodies, and our territory. We are not infants anymore. Infants are too fragile and can only let the outside world control them. We act now. We survive now. We decide what we do, where we go, what our own narrative is, and what we reject, resent, detest, distance ourselves from, drive out, ignore, and refuse to deal with. By obeying our instinct to breathe, to look with clarity, and to look straight into the eyes of others, we have already migrated to the people, relationships, and social circles where we do exactly that, where we live, and where we actively use our sight, hearing, scent, hands, and feet to exist. We have long since distanced ourselves from or driven out the circles and behaviors we reject, resent, detest, and hate, all so we can keep breathing, which means keeping ourselves alive. We survive because we instinctively choose the people and environments we genuinely like and that benefit us. A living organism stays alive because it has eyes and limbs. Our eyes are meant for looking. As long as our sight remains, we must look, gather information, maintain ourself, and possess and protect a certain territory to breathe, see, and move our limbs, and so boundaries emerge. Therefore, we must breathe, and we must look with clarity. As long as we breathe and look with clarity, we must do something. We refuse to fall into a frozen state where we stop living, stop deciding what we do, and so stop shaping how we see ourselves and the world. So, when we constantly breathe and look with clarity, which means we remain consistently alive, consistently maintaining our selfhood, our own feelings, our independent perspective, and our boundaries, we stay grounded in reality. We compel ourselves to act. We must go toward good people and healthy environments where we breathe and look with clarity. Only then do we develop and become better and better. And a society composed of individuals like us will become better, more civilized, and more conducive to life, acquiring income, resources, and territory, ultimately surviving and thriving, precisely because we demand these biological needs for survival and development. When we breathe and look with clarity, we are alive. We go to the powerful, civilized, courteous, and friendly people and environments that we genuinely accept, and we do what we truly want to do. That is breathing, that is comfort. We refuse to sink downward into a state where we can barely breathe. When we are alive, what we truly want to do is survive, to go to the genuinely worthy, good places we like, care about, and want to think about, while we distance ourselves from or drive out what we reject, resent, detest, and hate. Why do happy people seem to retreat? Because I have already moved on to live, to breathe, to look with clarity, and to act, to survive and to be at ease. Why does civilization exist? Because my need to breathe prevents me from sinking into a downward spiral that suffocates me and cuts off my air. Life exists, life needs to breathe and develop. The body naturally moves toward expansion, safety, and space. We approach environments that foster our development. We leave oppressive and draining environments to the outside world. This looks like retreating. In reality, we are choosing life. I strive to survive, so I go to the good places where I can breathe, see, exist, and move. My actions are entirely the actions of a living being keeping itself alive.